Most product analytics look exactly like this. Most users dropping off after the initial page view. And the reason for this is forcing users to create an account. But luckily, StackAuth just released their new anonymous login, and with this we can solve that issue. We will build the best to-do app ever. It's actually not that fancy, but the customer journey is perfect. We can see on the top right, we're actually not signed in, so it's just a random visitor on the website. But if he clicks on Get Started Now, they can use the app immediately. No sign up, no login, nothing. They can just get started. So we will do this now. We add this test to do. And what we can do afterwards is we can see this user button up here. We could prompt the user, by the way, you don't have an account yet. Please create one so you don't lose access. And then they can just sign up and everything will be synced to their account. And I will show you how this works right now. My name is Ralph Bolzhauser. I'm a startup founder and techie, and I just hate it that most users never get to experience your app because they are scared away by login pages. So now I will show you how to fix that. The first thing I do is creating a new next step. I take the installation wizard directly from the StackAuth docs and run it within my project. This sets up the whole StackAuth project and we can only paste the credentials afterwards. It looks like it was successful. Now on the StackAuth dashboard, I create a new to-do app. Here I can grab the keys that I need to put into my environments. I just place them in the environment.local file that StackAuth created for me. We will use Prisma ORM to interact with the database, so let's install this now. We just have one model, the to-do, and here we store the user ID, which will then be provided by StackAuth. I will use a Docker Postgres for this application. We can push the schema to it with Prisma DB push. Let's not forget shadcn. Great, now we're all set up to start coding the actual thing. The first thing I will do is I will replace the landing page with my own component. The most important thing here is to actually use the StackAuth use user hook that we have provided here, and now with the new or anonymous parameter to actually allow anonymous login. We also need to make this component a client component, so we're all set. To help us debug, we will add the user ID here to figure out if things are working properly. Another thing that we will do in the layout is to add the user button provided by StackAuth to see when we are logged in and how it actually works with the anonymous login. So let's check this out. We can already see a few things. First of all, we have the user button, and if we click on it, it states not signed in, which is correct. I didn't sign in. And in the console, we can see that there is a user ID provided. If we leave away the or anonymous, this will just return undefined because user is going to be null. So there isn't an ID of user. So we can see now if I reload that this is actually persistent. So this anonymous user is stored in our browser cache. Now let's get started with the actual to-do application. For this, I will create an empty to-dos page, so we have a new route /to-dos. I will also create a server actions file where I can store my actions. So now I've created a few basic server actions. The first one is get to-dos. The important thing here is first we get the user from Stack Server app, and here again with or anonymous. So this also works if the user doesn't have an anonymous account by then, otherwise we will just create one for him. And then with Prisma we will find all to-dos that belong to this user and return them. Similar structure follows the create to-do thing here, where we just receive a title and then we fetch the user and we create a to-do with the title that is assigned to that user. The delete and the update works exactly the same. The The structure I like to have in my next applications is I have the page where I fetch the to-dos in this example on the server side. I have the action TS where I have all the server actions in there. And then I have a client component that I pass the data to that are fetched on the server side. So I then can create a nice client-side component that is nice and interactive. What I also do here is I created a to-do item that just displays the checkbox, whether it's completed or not, and the title and the delete button. We will make this interactive afterwards, but now let's first take a look whether this works, and this shouldn't work indeed by now because we didn't add the to-do list so far, but now this should work. So let's check this out. If we go on the site, it looks pretty much as expected. There are no to-dos yet, so let's add one using the Prisma Studio. So we just create the first to-do here, and we use the user ID that we saw in the console before. And let's see if this works. And we can see our first to-do already exists. So we can actually fetch the data that belongs to us. So now in the to-do list, I've added the create functionality using this useState that manages the title and the handle create to-do that calls the server action we created before and resets the title. I've added an input and a button to call that action. So let's see if this works. We can see that this already works fine. But before building out the perfect to-do app now, let's focus on what we're here for. And we are here for anonymous user logins. So let's see if the user login flow already makes sense or if we need to tweak it a little bit. To test the user flow, I've upgraded the landing page a little bit to include a button that redirects us to the to-dos page. I will also clear my browser cache using Command-Shift-P and then clear data so we can delete all browser cache. What we can see now already in the console is that we have received a different user ID. So now let's see how the flow actually works. We land on the landing page and we click on Get Started Now, and what we can see is the to-dos from before are gone, as they should be, because we are a different user now, so to say. Now we can say add a to-do. This is my first to-do. We can add it and we can see that this is working. And if we go now on the landing page again and go back to Get Started, it's still here. If we refresh, it's still here. And what we can do now is we can actually sign in. So now let's actually try it and create a new account. I go here on sign up and just use some random email address with some random password and sign up. What I can see now is that I'm logged in with my new account and my to-do is still here. So this takes the same user ID that the anonymous user already generated for us. And now I could go log in on my mobile phone on a different computer whatsoever, and it's the same account and the data is synchronized. So what we can see is we have created a simple application, a simple to-do app with anonymous user where the user can just get started. So if he goes on the landing page and clicks on Get Started Now, they are immediately ready to use the app without signing up. And once they are using the app, you could implement a little prompt telling them, hey, don't lose your data, so please create an account so you can synchronize it to other devices and so on. And then they have a fully account after they received value from your product. It just blows my mind that we can create such great customer journeys so easily right now with StackOff. All my future apps will be built like this. Check out StackOff and build better customer journeys today.